What's up, Wix Nation? Welcome back to another video here on the Wix Training Academy channel. My name is Sarah Michaels, and I will be your hostess for today's video, where we will be going over some of the tools to help you do your keyword research for the SEO on your Wix website. If you have not yet already, please make sure that you go ahead and click on the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified when a new video drops here for the Wix SEO series, where we are helping you optimize your website for SEO so that you can generate more leads and sales. So in the last video, we went over the overview of the Wix website, the SEO features. And in this video, I thought it would be a great place to start and to go over some of the tools that you're going to use when you're coming up with your keywords. And so just a little bit of an overview here. So first of all, before we do anything on our Wix website, and you've probably heard me say this before, but you always want to make sure that you get the blueprint before you build. If you were here for the WTF, What the Funnel series, you probably heard me say that a couple of times, but it's really true. And the fact is if you don't sit down first and figure out what your keywords are, and really connect to the core message and marketing of your brand, when it comes to doing the SEO on your website, it's kind of just going to be like, you might be spinning around and trying to throw a dart and hitting the dartboard, and that's not it at all. You don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on SEO. You can absolutely, but if you're just getting started, what you really need to understand is that what's going to make the biggest difference isn't learning all the ins and outs and going down all of the SEO rabbit holes, but it's really connecting to your messaging, your marketing, and understanding how to position your product, your offer, or your service in front of the people who are already searching for you online. We call this niche research or niche research, however you want to say it. Personally, this is one of my very favorite things to do. And so I would definitely recommend taking anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours and doing your homework, because when you do this and you research what the keywords are for your website, for your competitors, and really hone into a couple of different keywords, you're going to be able to have a strategy that's going to pay you out on your website over and over. So one of the very first things to understand, and I know this is probably pretty basic for some of you who have been around the block, but we do have some beginners here, and we just want to make sure that we lay the foundation so everyone can get something from this. The two types of keywords that you'll be using on your website are short tail keywords and long tail keywords. Okay. Now, short tail keywords are very specific search terms, and it's anywhere from 1 to 3 words. Usually more like 2 to 3 words. I don't think maybe it can be 1 word. Anyways, so for example, if I were going to type into Google and I were going to type in website platform, that is a short tail keyword. Okay. And when I type that keyword into Google, it's probably going to give me a list of search results, pulling up things like Weebly, Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, and all of the other website platforms out there. So that is going to be a very broad search for my keywords. And it's also highly competitive. Okay. So when you're looking at that and you think like, depending on what your product or your service is, you're probably going to want to come up with quite a few of the keywords for your product or service that best describe what it is that you do. So for example, if you are a website designer, that's a keyword, okay? Those are short tail keywords. You might want to put Wix website designer. Okay, so that would be an example of a short-term keyword. Now that's a broad search. So if I were a potential client and I were going to Google and I were typing in Wix website designer, it would probably bring me a bunch of different Wix website designers. Now, ideally, if I'm a Wix website designer, which I am, but if, let's say, what I would want is I would want to be listed like really high up in those search terms on Google, because that's free marketing for me later on. So when you are really effectively doing your online marketing strategies, and some of these are going to be organic and evergreen, which means they're going to pull in leads for you for free and grow your business where, you're not having to post on social media or you're not having to pay for advertising. That's where some of these are going to come in handy. Now, more specifically, if you want to do a long tail keyword, that's when you have 4+ words and you're getting more specific with what your niche actually is. So instead of just saying Wix website designer, maybe I am a Wix website designer for e-commerce stores or Wix website designer for female entrepreneurs. Okay, those are long tail, very, very specific keywords. Now, it's going to lessen the amount of people that I'm targeting, but in reality, I'm going to be targeting more of my ideal clients. And so when I'm looking at the long tail keywords, that's where I'm really having a very clear understanding of my offer and my ideal client so that I can target them more effectively. Because the truth is I don't want to just generate a bunch of leads, right? I want to generate the right kind of leads. And it's way better to be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond. Personally, I believe that, because when you can narrow the pool down and you can dominate your own pool that you're in. So for example, if these keywords, you think of like that search term as a keyword pool, you're in a pool, you want to be at the top of your pool. You want to be the big shark that's listed at the top, the big fish that's at the top of the Google search words, okay? So you can absolutely become an industry or a niche king or queen by utilizing long tail keywords very strategically. And the best SEO strategy, in my opinion, now again, if we covered in the last video, I am by no means like an SEO know-it-all. I just happen to know what works for myself and my own client sites. And usually what we do is we do a mixture of short tail and long tail keywords, right? So that I'm not just implementing all short tail, but I'm also not just doing so specific that I'm missing out on some of the generic traffic that can really help boost my SEO results. Okay, so what you probably want to do is get a pen, get a piece of paper, whatever you want, and sit down and figure out, okay, what is it that I do? What do I offer? And when I'm doing this, let me just pull this up here. We'll duplicate this page. Let me just show you how this works in practice. So let's say that I am a fitness coach and I'm located in the Pittsburgh area. Okay, so let's say I'm working with a client, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they specialize in working with keto athletes, keto female athletes, and I don't know, they work on, I don't know, we'll just say that for now. Okay, so I'm like so some of the things that I might want to do is I would obviously be using some of my local SEO terms as well, which we'll show you how to do on your Wix, in your SEO Wix wizard. But I would be saying like personal trainer, Pittsburgh, and then you can go through this whole list of like, okay, I am, what do I want to rank most highly for? And what do I want to be most known for? And that's what it is that you do. And if you're located in a specific place, okay? So that's what I would write down as one of your top keywords, is exactly what you do. What is your like job title? And if you're located locally, I would put that in there as one of your top keywords. The next thing that I would write down is more of a generic keyword. Okay, so not necessarily locally, but you can implement that. So when we worked with one of my clients who was a holistic practitioner down in Georgia, we did like a virtual fitness and wellness coach, and then we did locally, and then we said like holistic, oh gosh, what did we put? Holistic doctor near holistic doctor, Atlanta, Georgia. And we listed these different keywords, and they ranked really high on Google quite quickly because of how we positioned them with the keywords. A couple of the other things that we did were based off of some of their other services, and we decided which keywords to use based in order of what their what their services were that they were focusing on. So for example, just because they're doing like drawing people's labs or doing like nutritional testing or something, that wasn't the main thing they were focusing on. So we didn't necessarily want to focus on hormone replacement, something, natural hormone replacement testing or whatever. I did not list that into my keywords because it wasn't a priority. So when you're doing your keywords, you really want to think, okay, what do I want to be known for? What are the services I want to be known for? Because then you can prioritize which keywords you want to be listed for, okay? And you'll just go through and make a list on that, and you can include short tail and long tail. So for example, if you are a website designer, you would want to put like Wix website designer, or graphic designer or graphic template designer, or whatever it is that you do, that's what you're going to put first. Now, if you don't have a location locally, that is okay. You do not have to be local. You can eliminate that. It's just know that it is an option if you do have a brick and mortar business, or if you are working locally, or you have a storefront, you can incorporate local SEO into your SEO strategy. Okay. Now, the next thing that you might want to do is use some of the SEO tools that are available to you. And I'll just kind of cover a couple of the ones I personally use and recommend. If you have any that you're using and loving, we would love to hear that. Please let us know down below what some of your favorite SEO tools are. Maybe, we can learn from each other, and maybe you found something that nobody's yet heard of, and we can check that out. So prior to, now this is, formerly I believe this was Compete.com, and now it's Alexa.com, which was bought out by Amazon. This is actually getting retired on May 1st. So gosh, it's so sad because for a long time, this was one of my favorite ones because you'd be able to find competitor keywords, SEO competitors, and it was a really neat, tool here. But again, they are retiring Alexa.com, which is why I'm not really going to be covering this very much. Another one is SEMrush. Okay, so SEMrush.com, we will go ahead and put all of these links down in the description. And then honestly, two of my top favorite ones are wordtracker.com. Okay, and you can get searches for free on this website. You can do the paid one if you want to, but again, you can search it for free, which is pretty cool. So when you go to wordtracker.com, it will show you Google, Amazon, YouTube. So for those of you who are also YouTube creators, this can be a really great tool for you as well. But what you'll do is you can start by typing in a keyword or a phrase. So for example, let's look up Wix website designer, and you can turn on the keywords here. You can see the different metrics. You can turn this on. And what you'll see here is the amount of volume, meaning this is how many people are searching for this particular keyword. When you're looking up this right here, this is the volume. So it's telling you Wix website design, Wix web, Wix site examples. So it's telling you right here what people are searching for when this is being typed in. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So you can see like, okay, so this is where you can really start to get an idea of, all right, this is what other people are looking for. So it's really a very helpful tool to have in your toolbox when it comes to SEO. Another one that I really love is Ubersuggest, and this is by Neil Patel. I referenced him in the last video. He did an article on the 10 best practices for Wix SEO, and he's just absolutely awesome. So I'm assuming he must have created this service, but what you can do with this one is you can actually like reverse engineer a competitor's domain and keywords. Okay, so for example, if there is somebody who's already in your industry or your niche who's doing what you want to do, who's already successful, which by the way, that's one of the first things that I would recommend that you do is do your research on if you are a website designer. Okay, so for example, I happen to know she was a Squarespace designer. Her name is louisehenry.com. So we'll go with Louise Henry. Okay, and another one that I've used in my previous year. Okay, so she is an online business strategist. Okay, and she previously was a Squarespace designer. I'm not sure if she does that anymore. So for example, let's say that I am getting started and I want to look at what my competitors are doing. One of the first places that I start is I go to Instagram.com and I look up the tags to be able to find people. You would type in Wix website designer. Now, what this allows me to do is I like going to Instagram first, because what I can do is I can search for this hashtag and then I can look up and see some other designers on Wix and I can look at what they're doing. And then I can be like, oh, okay, you can find your competitors through this. This is what I personally like to do. Okay, so let's say she's got this right here. And let's say that you found somebody who was designing on Wix and you're like, oh, wow, what's she doing? Or how is she getting people? So what you can do is you can then go like this. You can go to click on their thing here, and you can go to their actual website page. So you can find their website if you're able to. So this is where I would start when you're looking at competitors. And then you can go to type in their actual domain here in Ubersuggest. So let's say that I was going to look at louisehenry.com and see what some of her SEO was, what is driving traffic to her site. Okay, so she's got 4,376 organic keywords. This is her monthly site traffic. Okay, so this is what you can start to look up. How to create a scrolling website animation. People are typing in Louise Henry, solopreneur sidekick, creating a logo with Canva, crop into a circle. So you can see these are some of the different search terms that people are searching for when they're looking for her. Okay. Another thing is, let's say I were going to search for Tony Robbins. Let's just say Tony Robbins. Okay. Let's say that I am a guru life coach and I want to know what my competitor, Tony Robbins, what some of the traffic is that's driving traffic to his website. Okay, so SEO keywords. So when people are looking up Tony Robbins, they're looking up how to be confident, how to be more confident, how to let go of someone you love, business owners. So this is what's driving traffic to Tony Robbins' site. Okay, so this is where you can kind of start to get an understanding of the different, so you're looking at the keywords for this specific domain. Okay, so it says you're using the free version, 0 free daily searches available, so it's not going to let me search anymore because I just burnt that up. You can upgrade if you want to, or you can just, use it wisely and do the 3 searches. Otherwise, obviously, you can check out the plans and the pricing there. It's like $29 a month. So a 7-day free trial. There you go. So there you have it. You can get a 7-day free trial, search away. And then if you're not going to use it anymore, just cancel it before, just use this for your research. Now, the final thing that you can do is you can actually just go to google.com and you can use their predictive text right here to, like, let's say that I wanted to type in Wix. Here we go. Wix 10 best practices, Wix website design. Now, this is where I like to use this because it's kind of a hack, especially for beginners. You can use this when you are trying to figure out SEO tags for your YouTube videos, for content, because what this is right here, and it's often overlooked, is Google has gone through all of their archives and they've integrated this predictive text, which previously was a service that you had to pay for. Okay, so I remember back in the day before this was all integrated together in, I don't know, 2012-ish or something like that, it was like $97 a month or something as a strategist and a designer to get access to essentially what we get access to at your fingertips right now for free, which was an analysis and predictions of what are people looking for online. So when people are looking in Wix website design, this is what's coming up. So these are different ideas for keywords pertaining to your niche and your content. So if you're going to type in Wix website designer, you can say the different things that come up for that. Okay, so you can see it's got Upworks, Wix, Wix.com. Okay, so you can start to use that. So for example, if you were to type in like fitness coach, and then you can see these are different keywords that you could use. Fitness coach, keto fitness coaches. Okay. So just for example, that's another tool that you can use is just the Google predictive text. So that is what you'll want to do before you even sit down, before you even start to get into the dashboard to really do some of the stuff with the SEO. You want to actually use the tools and get the blueprint for your site, for your SEO, before you even sit down to get started. So I recommend keeping a document, a spreadsheet, or if you're a pen and paper kind of person, you can go that route as well. But definitely sit down and figure out and prioritize what the keywords are for your website based in order of relevance to your services and what you want people to find you or know you for. The other thing that you want to make sure you're doing is keeping your customer in mind and figuring out how you can use SEO to speak to or get in front of the problems that they are trying to solve. So that's one of my best tips I can give you is you've got to learn how to become a mind reader, because when you get really good at that and you get really good at tuning in to the heartbeat of your business and what's driving it and what's driving your ideal customer to actually come to you in the first place. When you have an understanding of that and you're able to express that through your marketing, it doesn't matter what the algorithm is or the tools or any of these endless other things. Your strategy is going to flow together really well, and that's going to supersede pretty much all of these, other things that are just noise out there. So I highly recommend getting very dialed in to your ideal customer, what specifically they're looking for, understanding your value ladder and the services that you offer, and what specific problems is your customer looking for online. And because when you're able to do that and you're thinking about like, okay, if I'm a Wix website designer, I want to get in front of people who are, my target market, which would be female entrepreneurs or, other designers. So that's where I'm going to then know what that person is looking for, know who they are, so I can integrate that into my marketing strategy. I hope that makes sense. Because you don't need to have a ton of degrees in SEO or thousands and thousands of research. If you can just really connect to your marketing, you're going to take your SEO really far. and it's going to be very profitable because you will be able to generate leads and speak to your ideal customer. And as long as your website is optimized to convert site visitors into leads and ultimately sales, then you are going to be good to go. So thank you so much for tuning in here to today's video. I hope you found this one helpful. Again, this was just more of an overview video. In the next video and in all of the upcoming videos here in the series, we're going to be doing more of the implementation, which is actually diving in and seeing how this looks in action specifically on your Wix website. So thank you so much for being here. If you're enjoying this series, please go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Remember to click subscribe and the bell so that you will get notified when the next SEO video drops in the series. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.